Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill on a Monday from Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill. Casey Gaines and Taylor Sharp back there on the ones and twos. Opening hour here brought to you by The Shed Barbecue. Mr. Hill, how are you?
Well, my Yankees got swept.
They're out.
My Lakers are 0-3.
They're terrible.
But how about those Tigers?
They're not terrible.
How about
right
those
now?
Tigers? Yeah, so I'll just talk about the Tigers today.
That was a fun day on campus. We made our picks at the end of the week last week, and there was a little tongue-in-cheek on both of the picks, I think. We're just trying to keep the vibes where they needed to be. But if you were listening to the pregame show on the LSU Sports Radio Network on Saturday when I was doing it, the vibes on campus were so good. It was such a good weekend. The weather was so good. Everybody was happy coming off a big win over Florida. And I said on the show, I was like, this feels like 2018 Georgia. It feels like there's a good team coming in, and LSU hadn't quite found its way yet, but it's going to be a big crowd. LSU's going to play really well, and they're going to come out and win the game. And it didn't look like that in the first quarter. It looked quite poor, actually, in the first quarter, but the last three quarters were an absolutely utter domination. And LSU runs away and wins at 45-20. And now we totally reframe the entire conversation around this LSU team, because all last week it was, yeah, that was really good, but did something click, or was this just part of the roller coaster? 2 weeks in a row, Jaden Daniels has been absolutely brilliant. The offense has been great, and you've gotten some really impressive wins over functional football teams. How good are Florida and Ole Miss? I don't know exactly, but they're functional, and they've got some good players, and LSU outclassed both of them for the majority of both games.
Yeah, I think this is the version of the Tigers that I kind of picked to go 9-3 early on in the season, and then you're kind of seeing that coming into full display with how they're playing. And you kind of look at some of the woes of this football team, special teams that didn't, know the offsides to start the game.
To start the game. They get offsides on the kickoff.
But I think after that, the special teams played extremely well, which is something that's really been ailing this team. And I thought the offense, man, that's the type of SEC offense that I think Denbrock kind of had in mind when he came into this conference. You got the quarterback that's kind of taking full control of this offense, and he seems comfortable. He's setting rushing records as a quarterback, as a passer. He just seems so much more confidence. The receivers are in rhythm. They're making big-time plays down the field. And I think the running game, that's something that you were missing in a lot of games where you're really struggling. Getting Goodwin back in, I thought, helped. I think Josh Williams has earned that. I know a lot of people were questioning, why is the walk-on in there? Why is he playing?
Yeah.
I think he's ran his tail off, all season long, and that's kind of why he's gained that. And the defense, another second-half shutout. That's extremely impressive and extremely hard to do in the SEC. And you can kind of feel it in that game, the game flow of the game, when they were getting that run game going, Junkin scoring touchdowns. I'm like, look, if we get a lead and they force Dart to throw a football, it's not going to be good. And you kind of saw that on full display. They really, really got after him and started. He started taking those big-time hits, and it seemed like he really didn't want to make those accurate throws down the field, and you really shut him down with his legs in this game. I thought was huge to really kind of stifle that Ole Miss offense. So looking at this game as a whole, took full advantage of that electric atmosphere in Death Valley. Obviously, homecoming got everyone in great mood and great feels, and the Tigers backed them up. And you saw the fans storm the field a little bit. Tiger student section had a little
much,
fun.
But they're kids, whatever.
The Mississippi kids and Mississippi school
it's
little
Ole Miss.
brothers.
Let's call it.
Yeah, storm the field on little brother. But I think when you watch this football team the past 2 seasons and you get a performance like that, I think everyone's going to be a lot more happy than we've had in a long time.
So many angles, and we're going to go the entire first hour on this game and this team. So there's a lot of time to get into all this. But I think any conversation that does not start with Jaden Daniels is probably burying the lead a little bit. You look back at the last 2 weeks, and he has just been nothing short of brilliant. And it takes me back to the Florida State game where it looked like LSU could not do anything on offense. They could not run the football. They weren't couldn't get the ball down the field, couldn't throw it. It was basically just Jaden Daniels running for his life for 4 hours. And now to look at this thing as finely tuned a machine as it is, yes, Florida's defense is atrocious, but to go march down the field, not short fields, not turnovers, march down the field for 6 straight touchdown drives to open that game is unbelievable. And then you look at what they did in this game, and it was just a methodical beatdown. They were not hitting huge chunk plays more often than not. They were just moving the chains. They picked up 35 first downs in this game. 35 first downs. That's outrageous. I mean, there's plenty of games where you only run around 60 plays. to get 35 first downs, that's just continually chewing up yards any way you want it. And Jaden Daniels is running the football extremely well. He ran for 121 yards and 3 scores in the game. He's getting the ball out of his hands quickly to the playmakers. If you wanted to see more of that early in the season, and for whatever reason it wasn't, so many throws just around the line of scrimmage to let those guys turn it up and make some plays, and then finally hitting some plays down the field. Yeah, the touchdown to Jenkins, he saw it an hour and a half late. I'm sitting there watching that, and Jenkins comes out the back. There's nobody there. Ole Miss has totally busted the coverage, and Daniels didn't see him. Then by the time he worked all the way back down the field, two Ole Miss guys were able to run back into the picture, but they were so far out of position. By the time they had run into position, their back was to the quarterback, and Jenkins was able to make a play on the ball and score for a touchdown. But that even the bad things LSU did, which he missed the receiver there, resulted in a 35-yard touchdown. So it was a clinic from start to finish.
Yeah, it definitely was. And I thought, the way Ole Miss started the game, it was like, oh, man, are we getting this former version of this team to start the year? Those struggles.
Lane had a script, and it just cooked. They just had no answer for it.
Yeah, those first 15 for Lane, they're really, really difficult to deal with. And then I kind of saw what you said earlier in the week, that tempo. They were getting to the ball.
They were.
At an electric pace, and the receivers were just sprinting, handing the ball to the ref. And I'm like, oh, goodness, are they going to score 30 in the first half? But this defense, man, I think Matt House can't get enough credit for what he's done, especially in a lot of these second halves and a lot of these football games. Against Florida State, you saw them play huge in the second half. Obviously, Auburn, you played huge in the second half. This game, you played huge. And that's the type of adjustments you need to make. And I think the question of the week is, can we get more Perkins? It seems like when he's not on that field, bad things are happening for that defense. And when he's on the field, you just see him constantly making plays, and you see him constantly getting after the quarterback. But I think all in all, that was a great performance by the defense and really backed up by the offense, the way they ran the ball. Obviously, when you have to worry about Jaden pulling the ball out and doing the things he can do with his legs, it just opens up so many rush lanes for those running backs. And I think what he's doing as a passer right now is going to be very, very difficult to deal with going forward. So that was just a big-time performance all the way around for the Tigers.
On the defensive side of things with Matt House, I don't know what they're doing at halftime. I don't know. I can't point on the field and show you what they did differently here versus there. But in just about every game they have played this year, they have thrown the clamps on them in the second half. Mm-hmm. Auburn could not move the football. Mississippi State could not move the football. Florida State didn't do a ton in the second half of that game in New Orleans. Florida did get a little something going, the 81-yarder just on the first play of the fourth quarter. Okay, I don't know if I can put that on the defensive coordinator when you miss 4 tackles. But he is proving that when he gets a sample size there into the second half, he's able to figure it out, and they're shutting teams down in the second half. To me, it falls on coaching. Again, I can't cite any specific examples, but there have been enough of these now over the first part of the season where I can look at it and go, they're coached well, and they're figuring it out pretty quick.
Yeah, no, that's the biggest thing why I was feeling so great about this football team going into the season. It's just like it's a huge upgrade from the staff down. I know you had your concerns about special teams at the start, but I thought the way they played in this game, it gives you a little hope going forward. But I think offensively and defensively, it's just night and day from what you saw last year. You got a coordinator who knows exactly kind of what he wants to do with this offense, and a defensive coordinator who's running an NFL defense. You don't really know what's coming. They're mixing up the coverages, and obviously when you bring that Perkins package in, you know the playmaker he is. They've shut people out in second halves, and they made it very, very difficult to score touchdowns, and that's what you need to win football games. And so looking at this coaching staff, I know people had some concerns, especially with some of the performance they have, but to me, football, it's a long season. You grow and you learn, and there's so much things that they're learning with all these new players. I think they're starting to figure out kind of what their identity is offensively and defensively, and that's a team that's going to be difficult to deal with going forward.
In the second half, Ole Miss had 112 total yards. They ran it 16 times for 32 yards. They passed it 8 of 18, which is 44% for 80 yards. They were terrible on third down, 1 out of 5. They were 1 out of 2 on fourth down. They simply couldn't do anything in the second half. And you mentioned Perkins a couple of times. Both Jackson Dart and Lane Kiffin mentioned him in the post-game press conference. Somebody asked Lane, they're like, all right, well, what happened in the second half? He goes, well, for one, they put 40 out there a lot, which we thought they would do, and he's just different than the other guys out there. And that's as simple as you can put it.
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate. And I listened to an Ole Miss podcast yesterday that they recorded. They were talking about Harold Perkins. Lane Kiffin's talking about Harold. You notice him when Ole Miss fans that are watching, they don't know anybody on LSU's defense. And so they all notice 40. It's just that's the effect he's having on the game.
No, it's huge, and we've been calling for it all year. I mean, I know Matt gets on me all the time, riding the 5-star number 1 linebacker in the country, but all 5 stars aren't created equal. I can tell you that right now. And if you just watch LSU game when Perkins is on the field, he's making plays, whether it's on special teams, whether he's rushing the passer, he's running guys down from the backside. He's just doing all the things that pop out on your TV when you cut LSU on and watch him play. And I know kind of you're getting a little more answers to why he isn't playing as much as he should be. I think, just learning all those linebacker positions and kind of figuring out what he can do well. But man, I just want to, if I got to sit down with you, Perk, myself, and go over the defense, we need you out there.
You got a bye week.
Yeah,
do whatever you need.
Yeah, we need you out there on the field because you can just feel his impact in these football games. And I'm telling you, in 2 weeks, you're going to have a quarterback that you're going to probably have to have him kind of spying and trying to figure out.
Heard of the guy.
Yeah. So
seen him.
Yeah. You're going to need
Not
Perk.
pleasant.
Yeah, you're going to need him out there. So, but yeah, I think anytime you're getting impact like that from a freshman, it's huge. And we need to see him out there more.
My favorite statistics to talk about, one of them's actually not very good, but my favorite statistics to talk about, we'll get to those next. Your opening hour on Monday brought to you by The Shed Barbecue. Looking for a late lunch? The Shed Barbecue is a great spot there on Burbank. It gets you in and out very, very quickly. If you know The Shed from your time driving to the beach or wherever you're heading east for, Ocean Springs, The Shed Barbecue, it's here in Baton Rouge on Burbank. Awesome place to watch games. They've got a lot of indoor seating area with TVs and cold drinks and great delicious barbecue. They got a lot of seating area in the back of the place as well. Picnic tables everywhere. They got live music on the weekends. And tailgating, going to be a pretty big deal coming up in a couple of weeks. If you got to stock your tailgate with some food, let The Shed help you out. Give them a couple of days notice. Tell them what you want. Get the ribs, get the brisket, pulled pork, get those sides, mac and cheese, potato salad. They got you covered, and they can get your tailgate running right over there at The Shed on Burbank. They bring you the opening hour each and every Monday here on Hunt and Hill. We'll come back with that stat I'm talking about next. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Start NFL week 8 off right with the no sweat same game parlay from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. You'll get free bets back if your Monday night same game parlay doesn't hit. NFL same game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance for an even bigger payday.
Yeah, you want to bet against Tom Brady because you think he's not any good anymore? You can bet him under on the passing yards. You can do that for sure. Lamar Jackson over rushing yards, Mike Evans to score a touchdown. Combine these for that big payout. You can build your own, or they've got pre-made ones right there for you in the FanDuel Sportsbook app. However you want to play, you can bet the NFL on Thursday night with a no-sweat same-game parlay. Sign up with the promo code 1045ESPN if you don't already have an account. If you already have FanDuel, you're all set. Just sign up and see what you got. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the National Football League. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. 3 legs minimum, $1 bet required. Refund issues and eligible free bet that expires 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $5. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Use somebody who has a gambling problem and wants help. Call 1-877-770-STOP.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana Barbecue Sauce, Louisiana Molasses Mustard, Spicy and Sweet Barbecue Rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party.
Join me, Jimmy Out, and Charles Handegriff. Monday, 6 to 8 p.m., we're at Spoken Hub Restaurant on Government Street in Mid-City. We recap the weekend pro and college football. Game Time presented by Bet Rivers on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Opening hour brought to you by the Shed Barbecue here on a Monday. Hunt and Hill. I think this is obviously, if you're following LSU football, you're well aware of this trend, but I think the numbers really paint the picture here. In SEC games, in the first quarter, LSU has been outscored 54-10. 54-10. And in the second half in SEC play, LSU has outscored opponents 82-34. Look back at the second half against Mississippi State, it was 24-3. Auburn was 7-0. Florida 17-14. And then Ole Miss, you outscored them 28-0 in the second half. LSU has closed games exceptionally well. They've just gotten off the terrible starts. Your thoughts on why that is?
Yeah, it's kind of the question of the season. Why have you not been able to start games fast? And I think a lot of these games you can kind of point to special teams when you kind of have some of the blunders you've had in special teams, and obviously this offense is really not clicking at a high level, especially start football games, not being able to run the ball, and then really missing that vertical passing attack to start the year. But these past few weeks, just going up and down the field. I know you missed a field goal in this game, but you kind of drove it right down the field to start this last game. So these past 2 weeks, you've kind of just had a little more success moving the ball offensively. But for the most part of the season, you just haven't been able to put the ball in the end zone, and the defense has given up touchdowns or given up points. So I don't really know what you can really point to and say, hey, if you fix that, you can kind of, turn it around. It's just simple, really. You got to execute better at a higher level. But to me, I always am in the camp. It's a 60-minute football game. I would much rather be a second-half football team, a team that finishes these games strong and figure out ways to win in the second half, because it's that for that very reason. You play for 60 minutes, but for whatever reason, this offense and defense just hasn't played well to start games.
If you look at my Twitter, I tweeted this out when Ole Miss went up 14-3. And the point remains. You got outplayed early in the game, but you also just couldn't catch a break or create one for yourself. These are 6 plays here that led to Ole Miss getting a 14-3 lead. You had Brian Thomas wide open down the left sideline for a touchdown. You underthrow the ball. You get a pass interference, but you had him open and didn't hit him. So that's one. Then you had Kayshawn open for a touchdown on the fade route, and you missed him by 1.5 yards long. You overthrew it. That play doesn't go your way. Then you had Malik Neighbors for a touchdown in the back of the end zone. He catches it, and he's 3 inches out of bounds. Well, there's 3 times you could have scored a touchdown, and you don't capitalize on the play. Then you get an interception, but there's pass interference on the play. Then he throws one right into the face mask of Sage Ryan, and he doesn't catch it, and you don't make that play either.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get a stop on 4th down, but they call you for pass interference. I'm not asking for all 6 of those plays to go LSU's way. I just need one, and we wouldn't be down 14-3. And it just you look at the pass interference. It is. You're out of bounds. It is what it is. You missed the throw, but if just one of these plays goes a different way, instead of all 6 breaking Ole Miss's way, it looks a little bit different. But for whatever reason, LSU's just not getting out to good starts. It's like the Tennessee game. Kayshawn on 4th down is 3 inches short trying to stick the ball out there, going for it on 4th and 1, and they can't quite get it. Drop a kickoff. Like, it just – nothing's breaking your way in the first quarter, and then you're getting behind the 8 ball. But the good news is that they've been calm, they've been collected, and they've gone out there and executed the plan. They've made adjustments, and they've beaten the brakes off people in the second half. Again, 82-34 in the second half in SEC play. But God, just give me a break earlier. I'm sitting there going, I just watched this 2 weeks ago in here, where nothing goes right. Give me something.
Yeah, no, you did get some unlucky breaks to start the game, and I think you got a little Gary Danielson jinx. I don't know if anyone was watching the cast. This is well within Ramos's range, and you just missed the field goal, and just everything that couldn't go your way was not going your way, and I think that's kind of it's a game of inches. Sometimes you get a lucky break here. To me, like I thought Dart had an opportunity to throw probably 4 interceptions in this game. The one Wingo back down, he was literally about to throw that right into
that was they were 2 guys breaking on it.
Yeah, so it's just like you got some really, really unlucky breaks in this game. But I thought that's why you play. That's why you keep going play after play. And I thought this team has showed that all season long. They're going to battle. They're going to fight. They're not going to quit. And I know that the strength and conditioning stuff, I think you got to give credit to Coach Flynn. I really haven't seen this team tired in the second half, or you see kind of teams kind of take their will from them. I know that Tennessee game, they were able to kind of do what they wanted to do, but they're going to do that to everybody. But for the most part, you just play dominant football. It's just I think if you can find a way to unlock this team starting off the game fast, and you follow that up with a dominant second half, it's a team you really got to have to pay attention to and look out for.
And I know that a lot of this is Jaden Daniels running, but to re-emphasize your point, in the second half, I mentioned Ole Miss's scoring. They couldn't do anything in the second half. LSU, in the second half alone, ran the ball 27 times for 154 yards. That's 5.7 yards per carry. It was just chunk play. I mean, it was just steady play after play after play, getting whatever you wanted. And Ole Miss continued. And look, we had Nick Suss on last week, and he said they're going to play that 3-2-6 with all the DBs on the field. And I'm looking at this, and I'm not a X and O guy. I say it all the time. Like, there's 5 guys in the box. Like, it's the lightest box I can ever remember anyone playing against LSU. And all right, we'll just hand it off and get 4, hand it off and get 6. And that's what they did most of the game. And Ole Miss never really walked more guys into the box.
No, they definitely did now, and I thought that's one of the calls that people didn't like from Denbrock. But I think you've had so much success doing it. They ran that draw on 3rd and 13, and people thought you probably shouldn't have ran that. But anytime you get in a light box like that with a quarterback like Jaden, if he creases that, he's up to the second level. But that's what he stuck with. He stuck with the run game. He stuck with Williams. They were running the ball. I was like, look, they're probably going to run inside zone like 3 times in a row, and that's exactly what they did when they started getting down in the red zone there. And then they, ran that cool play to Taylor where they kind of just switched it out, and he rolled out and hit him in the flat for that touchdown. Yeah. And so when you kind of get so, sucked into that run game and then you pull it out, it's just very difficult to deal with, especially when you got to respect the quarterback's leg. So I think this offense, they're finding their identity. They're finding what guys that they want to get the ball to, and guys are really stepping up and making plays. And that's kind of, what I think they envisioned when they kind of started this offense this fall.
You mentioned Mason Taylor. He has 3 catches in the game, one for the touchdown, then the one where he broke a tackle and kind of ripped one off down the near sideline. There are a lot of reasons to like him. He's a really good athlete. Looks like he's in the right spot more often than not. And he actually showed some speed on that play where he kind of turned it up. He's going to be a really nice piece of this offense the next couple of years. Yeah,
it's crazy to think that he's just a freshman, but that's what happens when you get the experience that he's had from the first week of the season and you're just constantly playing these games. You're playing in big-time SEC games. You're going on the road. You're doing all the things that, most freshmen really don't get to do until they're a couple of years into the program. But you've seen them get better week after week. And I know that Auburn game, people were wondering, like, why are we featuring this freshman tight end getting all these targets? But he's an athlete. He can make plays. And you saw that on full display. Got the big-time touchdown to kind of bust this thing open. And we saw that run up the sideline. And you saw that speed on full display. So he's got to continue to kind of get better as he goes. And I think that's a weapon that JD5 is definitely going to continue to find this season.
8 guys had a catch for LSU in the game. Kayshawn had 4. Malik Neighbors had 4. Mason Taylor had 3. Josh Williams had 3. Jure had 2. Brian Thomas had 2. Kyron Lacey had 2. And Armani Goodwin had a 4-yard catch as well. So 8 guys getting involved. And as I look through the statistics, one of the things that I really, really like in terms of the running game, like Josh Williams, to the point with those just having 5 guys around the line of scrimmage, Josh Williams ran it 17 times for 76 yards. That's 4.5 yards per carry. His long was 9. There was nothing that happened that he busted one that might skew the stats. He was just getting 5 yards every time he carried the ball, which was, I guess Ole Miss is content to let that happen, but that's the mix for a long day. And then you look up at the end of the day, and LSU absolutely waylaid Ole Miss in time of possession. Ole Miss was last in the conference in time of possession, but LSU had the ball 36 minutes in this game to 23 for Ole Miss. So it's just you're going to be out on the field the whole game.
Yeah, and it was kind of a death by 1,000 cuts approach, especially when you had the backs, kind of doing what they did. And Goodwin had a good day to me, missing all the time he had and kind of coming in there and doing what he did in the game. But when you're giving up 5 a pop, it just kind of gave you exactly what Tennessee did to you a couple of weeks ago, and that's you're going to live in 3rd and short. You're going to live in second and manageable situations where you can take shots down the field, and then if you have to go for it on 4th down, it's not 4th and 12, it's not 4th and 8. You're going to be dealing with very, very short 4th downs where you don't have to really get much yards. And so I think this run game has just gotten a world light years better from what you kind of saw in that Florida State game, and it seems like you couldn't get anything going with your running backs. Now they're kind of figuring out this offensive line. I thought Will Campbell, just getting him back in this offensive line was huge. He's playing really, really well for a freshman. Obviously, Emory Jones on the other side. They're having great seasons, and they're protecting the passer a lot better, giving Jaden time to make throws, and obviously they're getting guys rush lanes to get the ball down the field and really kind of demoralize some of these defenses. The last thing a defense wants to do is to stop run after run after run, and when you're getting 5 plays a chunk, it just makes it very, very difficult to sustain offenses and keep them off the field as a defense.
I had to catch myself on Saturday because there was a 3rd and 2 where Jaden drops back, sits in the pocket, scans the field, doesn't put his head down, and then eventually ends up taking a sack. And he had a ton of room to run. And I wanted to go, just run! And then I'm thinking, you can't for an entire month chastise this kid for running too much, and then when he's trying to make a play down the field, but it's 3rd and 2. I need you to go get that one. I just laughed because it's like you wanted him to do this so bad, and now he is surveying the field, getting the ball down the field much better. So every once in a while, that's going to happen. But I was like,
Yeah, it is. And I think, as he kind of gets going on, I think that's something that Coach Kelly was talking to him about, especially in that Tennessee game, is really understanding situational football. And that's what the great quarterbacks do. They know when it's 3rd and short. They know when it's 4th down. They know when they have guys on the outside. They need to give, one-on-one matchups soon. It seems like Jaden's, not as fast as we may have wanted him to understand it, but he's starting to understand kind of what's being asked of him and understanding situational football. And you mix that with the damage he can do in the quarterback run game, he's going to continue to do what he's doing, set records, and, really kind of go up and down the field on a lot of these defenses.
I'm not going to put him right in the category with Hendon Hooker and Bryce Young as far as SEC quarterbacks on the way that they're playing right this second, but he's a tick off it. I mean, he's been unbelievable in terms of, beating Florida defenders to the corner and scoring, getting the ball down the field, hitting some big plays. It's all working for Jaden Daniels right now. He was absolutely fantastic. And so kudos to the staff for seeing some of that early on, making him the starter, sticking with him when there were obviously a lot of people that were saying, hey, you might want to shake some things up. There's one sitting right here in this chair that said that. So it's been a treat to watch the last couple of weeks. Now they get a week off and they'll have a pretty stern test coming up here in 2 weeks. Not going to be a 2-week Alabama pregame show. I remember distinctly Charles Handegriff when the LSU team walked off the field in Arlington against Oregon. He did the postgame show and he said, we're not having an 8-week Alabama pregame show. We're not doing that. And we're not going to have a 2-week Alabama pregame show. We may touch on it here or there here this week, but mostly going to do all that heavy lifting coming up next week. But the conversation around this team and where they are in the Brian Kelly era, and then where this team is in terms of this season, it all shifted on Saturday afternoon. So we'll shift the conversation to that side of things next on Hunt and Hill.
Hold down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill.
LWCC is Louisiana loyal. They are elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana each and every month here on Hunt and Hill. All October long, we've been telling you about Fresh Junkie Racing.
Yeah, Fresh Junkie Racing is a group of racing enthusiasts that have taken their love of running and built a business providing citizens from across the state a way to get moving and stay moving. Created by athletes for athletes, Fresh Junkie Racing hosts world-class road racing events and triathlons right here in Louisiana, welcoming crowds from across the globe to experience this place we call home.
Exactly 1 month from the Turkey Trot. It is October the 24th right now, November the 24th, Thanksgiving. On that Thursday, they'll have a Baton Rouge Turkey Trot on Convention Street here, the Tammany Turkey Trot over there in Covington on North Columbia. They do 18 events a year. The Louisiana Marathon $5.2 million economic impact on the state of Louisiana. Fresh Junkie Racing doing its part to keep people healthy, active, engaging that type of lifestyle, also helping out our Louisiana economy. That is why they are a champion of Louisiana. LWCC is Louisiana Loyal.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
On Tuesday's OTB, it's bye week. How do the Tigers get ready for Alabama? Plus, Nick Underhill tries to make sense of the Saints and the NFC South off the bench. 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Opening hour on a Monday brought to you by the Shed Barbecue. Looking for a spot to grab lunch late? Shed can get you in and out real quick over there on Burbank. Delicious barbecue at the Shed. Tigers have won 6 of 7. The lone loss coming to a top 5 team in Tennessee. You have now knocked off Mississippi State, won at Auburn, won in the Swamp, and beat a once top 10 team in Ole Miss. And I think everyone is pretty aware. I picked this team to be 7-5. I have consistently talked all year, even last week, about how usually around here we're talking about building towards championships. You're talking about putting together a resume, contending for the West, contending for the Southeastern Conference, contending for the playoff. That's the expectation more years than not around here. Now, it's hard to reach that, and you don't more often than not, but that's the expectation. It's the way we frame football season. And I've said consistently, this is not like that. This is the first rebuild LSU's gone through in over 20 years since Nick Saban took over from Jerry DiNardo. And it's going to take some time. And now all of a sudden you look up, you're 4-1 in the SEC. You've got 3 SEC games left. And quite frankly, Arkansas has played very poorly for the last month. And A&M is a 10-alarm disaster, which we will talk about at the top of hour number 2. So, we can change the discussion right now. Yeah. You're playing Alabama in 2 weeks to have the inside track to go to Atlanta. That's a real discussion you can have. Now, would I be stunned if LSU went to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and got beat? I would not be stunned. Would I be stunned if they went to College Station and got beat? I would not be stunned. Jeremy says that. I would not. And it's going to be difficult to beat Alabama. Yeah. But you can change the discussion now. I'm not, obviously that's a little bit, there's a little bit of an ego that comes there with me telling you exactly how it is you're supposed to think. I don't mean it that way, but it's just the way that I am feeling like, hey, it's there. Like, you've done a lot here. For the first time in the history of your program, you did go to Florida and Auburn in the same year and win. Ole Miss did have a quality football team that came in here, and you just totally outclassed them for 3 quarters. Your quarterback is playing at an exceptionally high level. Okay, well, let's have the discussion. Like, it's a different world today than it was Wednesday to me.
Yeah, and I think we've all grown sick of the absolute dominance Alabama's kind of had over the SEC, but we've also seen the recipe that beats that football team on any given Saturday, and I think LSU has that right in their backyard with Jaden Daniels and the way he's been playing football these past 2 weeks in the SEC and using his legs and extending plays and throwing the ball down the field. That's giving that defense trouble, and this offense will get up on the ball and go fast, especially after a big-time play, and that's kind of been the thing that's plagued this Alabama defense. And I know he kind of has a stranglehold on that air raid offense, but this isn't the air raid offense that you're going to be playing in Death Valley in a couple of weeks here. And so anytime you've kind of seen them kind of have those chinks in the armor, giving up 52, even though you forced 2 turnovers, being on the road at a Texas team who I just didn't think they're not world beaters, almost losing that game and almost losing the game to Haynes King. I don't know if it's those dominant teams that we just see just absolutely destroy the SEC and walk into the national championship team. And to me, Bryce Young is their heart and soul. Like, without him this season, I think you could easily see them losing 3 or 4 games
There's
this
no
year.
doubt. That is not even exaggeration. I know it's Alabama. I know they got great players everywhere. Without him, they are a 3-loss team right now.
Yeah, and I think, I know it's last year. I know it's just some random game last year. But the way you played Alabama last year, I don't think anyone expected that. Now you get a lot of those same guys coming to Death Valley this season. You're playing them at home. It's going to be a night game. I know a lot of people in the chat are saying, oh, you guys are crazy. You're overreacting. We're going to lose to Bama. I don't think this is those Bama teams that we're used to playing, man. And I'm not saying we're going to go light them on fire or beat them, but it's going to be a game. And I think anytime you have an offense playing to the level that they're playing right now, it's going to be very, very difficult for Alabama defense, who I think really has a lot of chinks in that secondary. This is, who they played that Tennessee wideout group without their number 1 receiver, but I think, this receiving core is right up there with all the other receiving cores in the SEC, if not, 1 or 2 in the SEC when you go top to bottom. So they're going to have their hands full. And so I just think this is a different time, especially, when you think you're first place in the SEC West, you do control your destiny. These kids want to beat Alabama. And I know, for fans on the outside, you just give them no hope. But I know what it's like being in that locker room. I know what it's like when you go to practice every day, you're watching the film, you feel like you have a chance to win. And I think this football team definitely can do that.
And that's just a change from what has been the case around here for 2 years. I mean, the COVID season sucked for everybody. So Texas A&M.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. 1 loss.
Okay, we'll get to that in 20 minutes. But it was just tough, and you were losing, and it's just not. I've never been in the locker room, but I can tell from the outside, like, there's just a different feeling when you're 6-2, you've won 6 of 7, and you control your own destiny in the division, as opposed to you've already lost 3 games this year, and they're all conference games, and you're playing out the string, hoping to go to some Texas Bowl or something. Like, there's just a different vibe and an energy inside the locker room, in the football facility, at practice, in the community. Like, everything changes, and that's the case. And this is truly still a honeymoon period for Brian Kelly. You come in, and look, things have changed right now, like what we're talking about for the Alabama game, because they've won the games that they've won. But in August, like, it was almost universally accepted, okay, this may not go great in year 1. Like, we get it. You go 9-3, like, that's pretty solid. You go 8-4, we'll live. I picked them to go 7-5. Like, And that was a commonly accepted narrative in August. Keep recruiting, get your coaches in place, build the culture, make sure everybody's doing everything right, and you'll get it rolling eventually. Well, now you've got this team playing great football. Capitalize on the recruiting trail and build this thing. Like that's where we are. It's easier to kickstart the thing in Baton Rouge than it is to kickstart it in Fayetteville. I get it. Brett Bielema's first year, they went 0-8. And he did a pretty good job getting it moving, and they ended up winning 9 games one year, and they beat the brakes off Texas in a bowl game, and like he kind of got things moving in the right direction. It's harder other places, but Billy Napier and Jim and Brian Kelly, Brian Kelly, like they've got a pretty place you can get it kickstarted. Jimbo won 9 games his first year at Texas A&M, coming off the someone kind of disaster that all fell apart there. So it can be done, but it's just I don't think I expected it this fast. So the thing is like, okay, capitalize on this. Fire up recruiting. There's a lot to feel really good about in that facility right now.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people kind of wanted to throw this year in the trash can. Like, okay, this is just going to be a rebuilding year. We're going to get our butts kicked all year. But I'm telling you what it's like when you go in there. No one likes to lose. And you could kind of see that football team after that Tennessee loss. I was in that presser. I was in that locker room. You could just see the look on everyone's faces. No one wanted to feel like that again. And I know it's a rebuild. I know you got a bunch of guys in the portal, a bunch of new faces, a lot of young guys, old guys, guys who may not be here, and a lot of question marks and a lot of, kind of blunders you've seen on that field. But this team has done a phenomenal job kind of changing that these past 2 weeks. And football is such a momentum game. When you kind of get things rolling, it's kind of like a juggernaut, man. It's really, very difficult to deal with. And I think that's what this team has created when you kind of look at the performance they've had on both sides of the ball, kind of, fixing some of those special team woes that they have. You feel great about going into this Bama game. It's going to be electric. I'm pretty sure game day should be here.
Athens.
Yeah, you're right. Probably be in Athens. But it should be here. But, yeah, I think, anytime you're playing this well, with all the things that you're building, it's going to definitely help recruiting. And I just threw it in the Bayou for chat. So it seems like that A&M portal may be opening up after this season. I see a lot of departure maybe opening up, maybe some Louisiana ties.
18 minutes from right now, we will dive into that head first.
Yeah, so I think what Coach Kelly's building, it's a beautiful thing to see. When you kind of see a coach who's, coaching his team at a high level, making those adjustments in the second half that you kind of didn't see last year. Those are all the things that helps recruits get going, help this team get going, and something you can definitely build on going forward for the future.
There's no doubt. And it was just an awesome day on campus. Those are so much fun. Get out there. There's a ton of buzz. There's a ton of energy. The weather was awesome. And the Tigers come out and play awesome from the second quarter on. And it just hasn't felt like this in this town in 3 years since Joe's last game against Texas A&M. And now I think it's going to be very difficult to beat Alabama. And I certainly think that those 2 road SEC games are going to be a significant challenge, even though those teams haven't played great all year. So I'm not naive enough to think that, it's all fixed. We're back. LSU, here we come. I'm not there, but it's reasonable to have the conversation now about, hey, you got 60 minutes. Bama's coming in here. Everybody else plays with them. So, give it a shot. Here we go.
No, you definitely do. You can't go lay down. You can't back down. We don't know not backing down goes. We're not gonna go there again. But
old Joe Tex.
But I think this team is gonna be it's gonna be electric, man. I can't wait to get in Death Valley for that game. I just know that build up. We're gonna try to temper everyone a little bit. I know we're a little ways away, but it's gonna. We thought last week was electric. I know in 2 weeks from now that place is gonna be rough. It's gonna be earthquake vibes in Death Valley when Bama comes into town.
I think it's gonna be electric in the church that I'm in for the wedding.
I forgot you're not gonna make it, man. You're
gonna have my tuxedo on in the church.
Yeah, that's gotta be brutal. Hey, man, you gotta watch on the phone, man. Maybe sneak
open
that
bar
phone.
at the reception. So if things are going well, that could be good. Well, if they're not going well, it could be going good. I'll have the phone out probably. The open bar will be there. Bartender, get the scotch going. Gotta make it. But it's we'll not be inside Tiger Stadium for that one, but it'll be an awesome environment. There's no question about that. Brian Kelly probably hasn't seen Tiger Stadium at its peak. He will get all of that in the first quarter in 2 weeks inside Tiger Stadium. Again, we got 2 weeks to get you ready for that one. Opening hour brought to you by The Shed Barbecue. Each and every Monday, we'll give away some lunch coming up at the end of this hour. SEC recap at the top of hour number 2. We'll talk some NFL in hour number 2 as well. Hope your work week's off to a really good start. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
One of the things I love about betting on the NFL is that I'm always finding new players or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine these props with other bets from the same game and score an even bigger payout, perfect for tonight's game.
Yeah, the same game parlays tonight. You might want to be taking some unders. I don't think you want Justin Fields over passing yards. I would probably lean to the under there because it's probably going to hit. Ramondre Stevenson to score anytime touchdown. You can pick the total score to be under. Probably do that as well. The Bears, they don't score a lot of points. You can live bet the game during the game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. And you can also, when you win, you get your payings very, very fast. No feeling like nailing a same game parlay bet. So lock in your bet today on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 of free bets, win or lose, with promo code 1045ESPN. That's promo code 1045ESPN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues and withdrawable free bets expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're somebody who knows the gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah! This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1.
Night in the prep football season, and we get started Friday night at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview, presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Catholic Eye in Scotlandville kick off at 7, and that's immediately followed by the Lake Urgent Care, Total Occupational Medicine, Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Watching Monday Night Football tonight. Want to get a hearty dinner. Start off the week. The Shed Barbecue great spot over there on Burbank. They got your ribs, they got your brisket, they got your pulled pork. The turkey is phenomenal. I very much highly recommend that. Mac and cheese is awesome. Potato salad, very, very good as well. Great spot to watch the game tonight as well. They give away lunch here in the lunch hour each and every Monday. And today, James Uso of Responsible is our winner. So the crew over there at Responsible is going to get lunch via the shed. We will contact you, James. Appreciate you for entering the competition. I thought, LSU was honored, rightly so, today in terms of the SEC Players of the Week. A trio of Tigers received Player of the Week. Jaden Daniels, SEC Offensive Player of the Week. Mekhi Wingo, Defensive Lineman of the Week. And Harold Perkins, Freshman of the Week. I think Mekhi Wingo is just playing awesome, Jeremy.
No, I gave him a game ball during the post-game show because, I think, anytime you're missing a preseason All-American, 5-star offensive lineman, and really makes you wonder just how good this defense would be with Mason Smith in the middle of it. But I thought, since that Florida State game, Wingo has really stepped in and really just played huge all year. And you think about teams, I know we're going to talk about that Tennessee game. A lot of those runs are running to the outside, but, you think about all season long, it's been really, really difficult to run in the middle of this defense, and then Wingo's been a big part of that. And I think anytime you get a sack and a half in a game, it's extremely impressive. And he's playing his tail off, batting passes down, really making it tough in the run game and getting after the passer. I don't think anyone could have predicted him playing to this level, even coming off a freshman All SEC season as a freshman. But he's been playing his tail off, and that's something this defense is going to continue to need down the stretch.
Yeah, 7 tackles for him, 4 of those solo, had a sack and a half. Broke up 2 passes at the line of scrimmage. Like you said, one of them was going to be intercepted, but appreciate you getting your hands up. Also had a hurry. He's been sensational on the interior along with Jaquelin Roy. And you mentioned this as far as the run game. Outside of Tennessee, they've really done a great job on the run game. Tank Bigsby and Jarquez Hunter never really got going. Florida's running backs didn't do much. Richardson had the 181-yarder, but then Ole Miss came in here, and they really threw the ball a lot more than I thought they were going to. Lane made a commitment to that early in the game, but their running just never really got going. Quinshon Judkins did have 111 yards, but you made him carry it 25 times to do so, and he never really got loose for a big play. So I thought LSU did a really nice job against that Ole Miss rushing attack.
No, they did phenomenal, and that was the key to the game. If you listen to any show on this station, you listen to any LSU podcast, you listen to anyone, they would have told you gotta slow down this Ole Miss rushing attack. That's their bread and butter. That's how they open up all the other stuff they do with that offense, with the misdirection. I thought they did a phenomenal job, slowing down all that stuff because they really couldn't get those 2 backs going. I know it was a little shaky those first 2 drives with just how fast they were going, and Lane really dialing up the way he has. But when you kind of got to the meat and bones of this game, they really shut that rush game down. I thought it just opened it up for the secondary to play the way they did against the receivers who we said, going into this game, really probably couldn't dominate these cornerbacks on the outside time and time again. And you saw that on full display because they were able to shut that run game down.
Still a little bit worried about the secondary. Ole Miss was able to throw the ball a little bit early in the game, and they missed one that would have been a long touchdown. That was the first real break LSU caught. It was in the second half. They had a guy running wide open from left to right as you were looking at the field from the press box, and he just whiffed him. But it's just not quite the secondary that LSU's had over the years. It's a lot of older players that have played a lot of football, but they're just not quite the level of player that LSU's used to. I don't know if any of these guys are surefire NFL guys. We'll see what Major Burns can do in 2 weeks. He was playing really good early in the season. Hopefully he adds a little bit of a spark, but that's still a little bit of a question mark for me in the back end.
Yeah, I mean, we're just used to DBU. You're used to Patrick Peterson. You're used to Derek Stingley going top 3. Just used to, Tre'Davious White, and you saw all these guys in the secondary. But I think for a group with a lot of guys who come in from other schools, I thought they played well for the most part on the outside. And I think you kind of got a little favor in that when you're not going against, the Jerry Jeudy and Devontae Smith and some of these other guys you normally used to have to deal with week in and week out in the SEC. But all in all, I think they played well. And, looking forward for the rest of the season in the SEC games, I don't think Alabama has those receivers on their roster. I don't think Arkansas has those receivers on their roster. And A&M definitely doesn't have those receivers on their roster either. So I think you match up well, even though you don't normally have those perennial first-round picks in this secondary.
About UAB?
Oh, my God. Oh, goodness gracious. No way. No way.
We'll see. I think that getting Burns back will be good. And it was a really athletic play that Fouché made for the interception. And LSU really needed it. And Dart he was sick of getting hit, and he just threw that one up and took a shot when he did it. But LSU did a great job hitting him, and they made everything difficult on Ole Miss, and they didn't have any answers there in the second half for what LSU was doing to them defensively. So that was a very, very good thing. That'll do it for hour number one. All LSU and Ole Miss. If you missed any of it, you can catch it all on demand, 1045ESPN.com. You can find it on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you find your audio. You can find our stuff. Just search Hunt and Hill. Opening hour here on a Friday, brought to you by The Shed Barbecue. Tailgating in 2 weeks. Going to be a busy day on campus. You want your tailgate stocked with great food. The Shed is a great spot for you to do it there. Just call them like 2 days early. Tell them what you want. They'll have it ready to pick up, and you can take it right out to campus. It's great, convenient on the way in to campus right there on Burbank over at The Shed. We appreciate them for bringing you the opening hour each and every Monday. Excited for a jam-packed hour number 2 coming at you here. We're going to start things off talking about the Southeastern Conference, go over our gambling picks. Not great. And then we will talk about the results in the NFL as well. So stick with us here. We are moving fast here on a Monday edition. Come back with hour number 2 after SportsCenter. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hold down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill.
One Bath and Closets, onebathandclosets.com. Need a new renovation to that bathroom. Need some more space, closet space. One Bath and Closets is your spot. David Duvall, been in the business for 3 decades. Right now, if you go to onebathandclosets.com and have your closet renovated, 30% off if you say Hunt and Hill sent you. Not an insignificant amount of money. I'm telling you, 30% off from them. Onebathandclosets.com is the website. You can check out the stuff that they can do on the website. The tub to shower conversions doesn't take a ton of time. It can totally change your bathroom. If you don't ever use the tub, you'd like a brand new gorgeous glass shower, they can do that. If you want to put an acrylic wall to update the bathroom, that can be done in as little as maybe 1 to 2 days. We're not talking about a 3-month renovation here in a lot of the cases. So check it out. Onebathandclosets.com is the website. I want to send you there each and every day. Onebathandclosets.com.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
They said I was small, weak, said my heart wasn't strong enough. But I showed them what heart looked like, again and again and again. Mom got me the right care, the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Don't let people tell you who you are. Show them the right card, the right care.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Matt Ryan experiment in Indianapolis is over. Coach Frank Reich announcing today that quarterback Sam Ehlinger will start for the Colts the rest of this season. He says the move is not being made because of Ryan's shoulder injury. Ryan does lead the NFL with 9 interceptions and 11 fumbles. ESPN's Adam Schefter is reporting Jets running back Breece Hall has a torn ACL and minor meniscus injury, will miss the remainder of this season. It'll be tough to replace Hall, who has played a pivotal role for the 5-2 Jets, notes our Keyshawn Johnson.
I don't know where they're going to get that extra gear from. I don't know where they're going to get that. This young man from Iowa State was really turning things on and becoming something special in the National Football League. Unfortunate, though, he got taken off in the cart, so it's going to be tough for them to be able to get that production from somebody else.
Keyshawn of Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Cowboys cornerback Jordan Lewis had surgery on a Lisfranc injury, will be placed on injured reserve. His season is over. Seahawks coach Pete Carroll told Seattle Sports 7:10 a.m. receiver DK Metcalf won't need surgery on his injured knee. No timeline yet for his return. P.J. Walker will remain the Panthers' starting quarterback against the Falcons Sunday.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
All right. Potato. I got all the details.
It's not potato and a potato, sir.
What's a potato? I've never heard anyone say potato.
Potato.
The guys will be back Tuesday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. 1, 2, 3.
Hunt and Hill. Tom Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hour 2 on a Monday. Hunt and Hill with you. Hope your work week's getting off to a good start. Going to spin around the Southeastern Conference. We only placed three gambling picks here. Get you the result of those, but we're going to go through the games as well. The early morning ball game was Tennessee against UT Martin. Once again, whoever scheduled that game after Bama deserves a significant pay bump, because that is a perfect opponent to get out there after you were going to have a violent hangover from beating Alabama for the first time in a decade and a half. And Tennessee didn't waste any time. They scored 52 points in the first half.
Yeah, that offense is just absolutely crazy. And I think they probably have the Biletnikoff winner in that receiving room right now. And Hyatt, he's just playing just absolutely insane football right now. You got a quarterback who's just playing, lighting the world on fire. The offense is going to do that to everybody. So if you're UT Martin, just take your check, pack your bags and head back home.
696 total yards for the Vols.
Yeah.
And look, they got Milton in the second quarter. So that's how you handle a bye game right there if you were the Vols. Tennessee trucking right along as they are unbeaten in the top 5 in the country. So that was the early game. Going to look at Vanderbilt and Missouri here very briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Mizzou.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
3 points.
What are you doing?
3 points.
That was not good. Missouri did not score in the second half against Vanderbilt. That's tough.
Terrible. What was the line for that? Because I definitely
14.
Oh, jeez. Man.
We both had Missouri.
Yeah, of course we did.
That's a loser. That'll be a theme for me this week in every game. So get used to that.
So I see worse absolute team with the spread. You don't know what you're going to get week in and week out. The doors.
I can't win a Vanderbilt bet. I cannot win a Vanderbilt bet.
Impossible.
I bet them they're catching 1 million points. They lose by 2 million. I try to say, all right, well, we'll backslide. And then they hang in a ball game. They're not going to win. We know that. But at least they might cover.
No, they just you can't trust them to do anything.
I've lost every Vanderbilt bet.
Can we just stay away from Vandy? Just take them out the power rankings. Just not bet against them.
They're in the league.
I guess they're still in the
Gotta
SEC.
love it.
Guess they're still.
All right, Mississippi State, Alabama. Again, I said on Friday I was planning on taking Mississippi State to win the game outright. Bama had really struggled with everybody just about, and their defense had not been very good against the pass. You got a quarterback that's played a lot of football at Mississippi State. Got an offense that's been running fairly decently. And then I looked up and said, oh, Mississippi State hasn't scored a single touchdown on Alabama in 3 years. So probably not very wise to go with him to win outright. But I'll take the points. We're catching 21. Lost by 24. I lose.
Yeah, that's just look. They showed the statistics of what Saban was doing to that Mississippi State offense, and it's not very good what they've been doing. I think they've scored 9 points in like the past
They scored 9 points 2 years ago. They scored 0 last year,
and six
this year.
Yeah, so they scored 15 points in the last 3 seasons.
They finally scored a touchdown on the last play of the game. Literally the last play of the game. They ran a touchdown in from the 1 yard line. It was 30-0 after 59 minutes and 57 seconds.
Look, I'm not even thinking about this from a Mississippi State angle. They're going to be Mississippi State. They're a Mississippi school. We know what that is. I'm looking at what they did to Gibbs in the run game. Held Gibbs to 3.7 yards a carry with our rush defense.
Oh, now there's an angle.
Bryce Young, 21
Just pick us to win now. We don't have to wait 2 weeks. Just pick us to win.
Look, I'm just calling it out, man. Just calling like I see it. They did a job against some Bama receivers, not really lighting the world on fire. Bryce, he had 21 of 35. It's not the greatest. So we'll see, man. Try to stay away from it. It's very hard to do. I know how it is in Baton Rouge. But, yeah, that's what I was looking at in this game.
We both had Mississippi State there, so we both lose. That's 0 for 2 for both of us there. So we go to the last game of the weekend, A&M at South Carolina. That was a disaster for Texas A&M. They are terrible. Absolutely terrible. Haynes King's terrible. Jimbo Fisher's terrible. Their defense didn't stop anybody. They can't score any points. South Carolina punched them right in the mouth. They give up the opening kickoff. They run back for a touchdown. And usually when you run a kickoff back for a touchdown, it's the returner like hits the seam and it's like shot out of a cannon. No, they had like 6 guys who could have tackled him on the sideline, and none of them did. And then he ran away from them all.
Oh, man, I just love it. I just love it, man. And your boy Rattler had just an average day in the office. You lost to Spencer Rattler, who threw 12 completions in a game and had 160 yards. And you lost to that guy.
Yeah, I had Texas A&M laying 3 points there, so that's a loser. I went 0-3 on the week. You did have South Carolina, so you went 1-2. Yes. So we'll update the standings to reflect that. But more importantly, we need to talk about Texas A&M. They, quite frankly, would fire Jimbo Fisher at the end of this season if he didn't have the contract he has. I listened to the Texas A&M, the TexAgs podcast yesterday. I've messed around on their message boards over there. This is year 5, and they may not make a bowl game. And if he didn't have $80+ million still on his contract, he would be fired. Because his resume through 5 years is worse than Kevin Sumlin's was. They're not getting better. In fact, they're getting worse. They're the worst offense in the league. They cannot run the ball. They cannot throw the ball. They turn it over. And it's a bad spot over there in College Station right now because you've got a lot of people who were planning on winning, and they're not winning squat. And you're in an era where you can just up and leave. And I'm not predicting a massive land rush, but I'm telling you that Billy Lucci is connected as anyone he's as connected to Texas A&M in the inner workings of that program as anybody who covers any team in the country. And he said the locker room's not a great spot right now. And Jimbo doesn't have anywhere to fix it.
Yes, I love this. And I saw last week that Scott Woodward, our great athletic director, he got a little extension, a little pay raise here. And I don't think it's because of the Kelly hire. I don't think it's
not
because
the Jay
of the
Johnson hire.
No, I think
Kim
it's because he hired Jimbo at A&M. They had to pat
sabotage
him
the program.
Yeah, what a hire by my man Scotty. And now the doors and the floodgates are open. We saw the blueprint from my man Coach Kelly early on this year. Last time I checked, they got a lot of Louisiana guys on that A&M roster, if I'm not mistaken, right? I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure, in a couple months' time, I could see some of those guys hitting the portal, come on back home, join the Tigers, get back to the winning ways, because I don't see this thing sifting around really quick. Like, I know you're saying they're on the verge, they're, working on some stuff.
It's the exact opposite of what's going on here, where you're in the honeymoon phase and things are rosy right now. Now, you lose your last 3 conference games, things turn a little bit. But right now, things are rosy, and it's the honeymoon period. You're coming off 2 nice weeks of football. Got a big game coming up. It's a good spot. They are in year 5, and they're awful. And the entire fan base knows that this may not work. And they've turned on Jimbo. They don't think he can fix it. They don't like it. And what is very likely to happen in January is that he fires his offensive staff, has to bring in an entirely new offensive staff, including an innovative offensive coordinator, and cede play calling duties. They're basically going to tell Jimbo, your job is to be the recruiter. Somebody else has to coach offense. You've been doing this for 30 years. We know you're not good enough at it anymore. Somebody else has to do it for you. That's the conversation that's going to have to happen in College Station. And that's not comfortable.
I think that's the problem for the Texas A&M Aggies in that football program, in that fan base. It's a little squeeze up delusion in there. They're giving me that Nebraska feel that you're just from the 90s and we got so much grit. You guys joined the SEC and you literally haven't done a single thing. Like, you haven't been to an SEC championship. You had the COVID year. Congratulations.
9-1. Orange Bowl champs.
COVID year.
One of the best teams in the history of the school. Nobody's there to watch it.
So when you really look at it and you really get down to the meat and bones of this thing, it's what are you going to do next year? Like, Alabama's not going anywhere. Just look, the SEC West isn't LSU. Was Jaden 5 coming back? Like, we're not going anywhere. Then you go look on the other side. Tennessee is Tennessee. They're getting a 5-star quarterback trotting in there. Georgia's going to be Georgia. Like, y'all, when you talk about being a top 6 team in the country, that means you're challenging. You're challenging for the playoff. They're what's their record? 3 and something.
They're 3-4.
3-4.
They're 1-3 in the league, and their one win in the league was because Arkansas hit the upright.
So you're well on your way to a Birmingham.
And by the way, they lost to App State. Would you like an update on how App State is faring this year? Because I will give you an update on how Appalachian State is faring this year. Hint, it's not very good. And this is a team that went to Kyle Field and physically manhandled A&M for 60 minutes. This is a team that lost to Texas State by 2 scores. This is a team that lost to James Madison by 2 scores. This is a team that gave up 63 points to North Carolina, and that's the team that beat Texas A&M. Yeah. Texas State beat this team, not Texas A&M. Texas State. So it's the thing is that you have they fully believed, the fan base did, that Jimbo was the guy. National championship coach, quarterback developer. He comes in, wins 9 his first year. You're recruiting at a top 5 level. Then you pop, even though you had an 8-4 year. You pop the #1 signing class, and there's reason to think, okay, it's all kind of coming together with all this talent. For the first time now, it's been 5 years, they all think he can't do it. And that can be toxic.
No, it is.
If attendance maybe hurts, or if you're not as committed in the recruiting game, and then things flip. And look, he's not. And Billy Lucci said this on his podcast yesterday. I'm paraphrasing, but basically that contract is his security blanket. If not for that, if he was on a normal deal like every other coach is on, he'd be catching a check for $10 million here in a few weeks, and he'd be out the door, and they'd be doing something differently because it's falling apart.
I mean, you can't put the amount of money and resources they put into that football program. They just upgraded the stadium. They upgraded the facilities. They're pumping NIL money out the wazoo, and, you know, all the things that you would think that you need to challenge in the SEC. They have everything. They have the national championship winning coach. They have the #1 recruiting class in the country.
Ever.
We did it. Woo-hoo-hoo.
#1 ever.
And you're 3-4 in the SEC right now. So things just couldn't be any worse for the Aggie football program. And I love every second of it when you deal with, you know, all those delusional fans on Texags. I had to cut back on my Texags. I kind of felt bad for them. It's just kind of just low-hanging fruit, kind of. I
gave it an hour last night.
It was
awesome.
It's like I said it. Look, they're little brother, and it seems like they're going to stay that way because I don't really see how they turn it around in the way that this fan base desperately wants them to do.
The Hail Mary here, the last thing they got is to go to the freshman quarterback. And we saw Connor Wegman play in the second half of the game because Haynes got hurt. He's banged up. And so we'll see. They got Ole Miss this week. Maybe they turn to the 5-star freshman and try to get any sort of life pumped into that program. But right now it is flatlined. And they are – Lucci said it's the most disappointing football season in the history of the school.
No, it is. When you have all the sunshine and rainbows that was pumped into that Aggie program and you go lose on the road to Spencer Rattler, who threw 12 completions – you lose to App State. You just have zero pulse and zero things going for you. And I think the saddest question –
got blown out by Mississippi State.
Yeah, the saddest question is are they on the verge of not being bowl eligible?
No, there's no doubt. They have to win 3 more games.
That's a real question I think they have to ask themselves, going from the #6 team in the country to start the year to not making
Look, their next 2 weeks are no picnic. Now, they're at home, but it's Ole Miss and Florida.
What does that mean? They lost at home to App State.
I know. Then you go to Auburn. And then in the Who Cares Less Bowl, at that point, whatever. Then they got UMass, and then LSU comes to town. So they're 3 of their last 4 conference games are at home, but it's no picnic. And, they have to win 3 games to get into a bowl game. You figure you give them UMass, they've got to split the 4 SEC games.
Oh, please. I would love if they're just sitting at 5 wins and we just trot into College Station.
Well, that means I said that conversation is going to have to happen in January. It's probably going to have to happen in December if they're not going to a bowl game because they don't have anything else going on.
Man.
Guys get to go home for the holidays, and Jimbo's going to have a discussion. Hey, man, here's this $9 million we're giving you or $10 million, whatever we're giving you. Go recruit the players. Please don't coach them because you're awful at that. I've watched it, and you can't do it. Do not coach. Let's get somebody else to coach. That's what the discussion is going to have to be. It's a tough scene over there in College Station. Take a look at the National Football League next. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford. Check out the inventory online at BayouFord.com. Always telling you about the convenience with the service department. They've got 6 full-time drivers on staff. They will come get your car, leave you a loaner. You get on about your day. They kick your car back to the dealership, perform that service, and bring it right on back to you. Could not be any more convenient than what they do for you over there at Bayou Ford. Tell Ben Gagne and the crew when you go in that Hunt and Hill sent you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, head over to BayouFord.com. They've got news specials tab that updates daily. It's a complete with photo of a vehicle, the savings you can score, as well as a video profile on the vehicle and all of its features. Don't see anything you love? That's okay. Keep coming back because those deals will update on the site as Bayou Ford rolls them out. It's all right there at BayouFord.com.
Sure is. Check out the inventory right there at BayouFord.com or let them customize a vehicle for you. BayouFord.com is the website. Bayou Ford, what they're going to do right by you.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana Barbecue Sauce, Louisiana Molasses Mustard, Spicy and Sweet Barbecue Rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water.
Miller Lite has more taste and...
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap LSU Ole Miss. We'll chat with Cole Kubelik and what we learned from the weekend in college football. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com. National Football League action yesterday. A lot to get into. Interesting day across the league. I'm hopeful the Bengals are kind of finding stride a little bit there. Atlanta had been playing some pretty decent football, and the Bengals just thrashed them, scored 28 points in the first half, and win at 35-17. Joe goes for 481 and 3 touchdowns. Almost had 3 receivers go over 100 yards. Really impressive for Cincinnati yesterday.
Yeah, going against that Bengals offense, the last thing you want to be doing is playing with their 3, 4, and 5 cornerbacks, and you kind of saw, Joe take full advantage of that. Guys literally running wide open in an NFL game. Kind of looked like J.D.5's freshman highlights, which is how open some of those guys were in that game. But Joe's clicking right now. He's playing really great football. He's done that the past 2 weeks, and he's starting to really kind of show that version of himself that he showed last season, and now they're tied for first place. And that conference is starting out the season 0-2. So, yeah, football is such a momentum game. You kind of see that Bengals offense try to get that momentum, and that started with my boy Joey B.
We thought the Lions were really good scoring points early in the season. Didn't think they were really good. Thought their offense was playing very well, scoring a lot of points. All of a sudden, they get shut out by New England last week. And then yesterday, they turned the ball over 5 times, including a crucial fourth-quarter fumble on a running play that was actually made happen because Micah Parsons didn't quit on a play and made a tackle at the 1-yard line. And the Lions don't score a touchdown yesterday. They lose 24-6 in Dak's return.
Yeah, you saw that cliche come in full display with that Micah Parsons play, and it's a game of inches. And you saw him stop him at the inch line, and obviously you know what happened in the next play with the fumble. That's why you got to play every play to the whistle. And Micah Parsons, I think, he definitely has a case for Defensive Player of the Year. You talk about Perk making havoc. That's Perk on steroids. What Micah Parsons is doing already in his young career for the Cowboys. And so getting Dak back, I put it as the worst loss of the week if they lost that game, and I was a little worried the way that game was starting. Like, are they about to lose to the Detroit Lions? But Lions are going to do Lions thing. Didn't bite off
1-5.
Yeah, didn't bite off enough kneecaps, and now they're 1-5. So
Coach Dan Campbell, Texas A&M Aggie, 1-5. That's where that goes. All right, Colts were at the Titans. They turned the football over 3 times. Matt Ryan today got benched. They're going to go with Sam Ehlinger moving forward. Not great in Indy. I thought they were going to be a really good football team. They're 3-3-1. The Titans moved to 4-2 with a 19-10 win.
Yeah, it's just the Colts team. A lot of people picked to really challenge and win the AFC South. No, not a lot of world beaters or proven champions in that conference. But when you kind of look at that Colts defense and you kind of look at the running back who just lit the NFL on fire last year, you thought they potentially have that avenue. But for the Colts, it's just not much. I know we did the little Super Bowl exercise last week, and after pulling that back, I don't know why I tried to hold on to the Colts there, but yeah, that's just tough times for them, especially when you got a quarterback who has so much experience coming into the year. Thought he'd be able to kind of lead that team with the run game, but things have definitely not gone their way.
I'll tell you who else ain't going to win the Super Bowl. That's the Packers. They go to Washington, get beat by the Commanders 23-21. Terry McLaurin was awesome in the second half of that game, and Packers just can't quite get it done.
I don't think anyone would have picked Taylor Heineke to beat Aaron Rodgers in a football game, but that's what you watch in Washington yesterday. And, yeah, a lot of stuff going on with the Packers, and it's easy to kind of point to one thing, but maybe it's Devontae Adams, maybe it's the young receivers, but they just have not played well all season. And when you kind of follow up losing to the Giants, to the Commanders, I don't think any Packer fan would have predicted that to start this year, but that's where they are, and they're going to have to do a lot of figuring out because the Vikings aren't going anywhere. It seems like they kind of figured things out, and they're winning a lot of games. And for the Packers, looks like not making the playoffs is definitely on the table.
My worst loss on the board was the Bucs going to Carolina, and they lost. They lost bad. 21-3 is the final. Bucs can't get anything going offensively. Tom's frustrated. Mike Evans can't catch a football. He's signing things for referees. Somebody's got to win the NFC South.
Yeah.
It is a fact. One team will win it. None of them look to be very good.
Could we see the first 7 and 10 team make a playoff game and host a home playoff game? Like, is that possible this year? Like 7 and 10 and host a playoff game? Because, the Falcons are one of those teams where it's like, okay, you may play okay this week, but are you really that great? And then we kind of see the Panthers for what they are. They're playing with the XFL quarterback right now. And then, the Saints, Saints are doing Saints things, but I don't think anyone predicted the Bucs to kind of fall off the face of the earth like they have. They say, oh, yeah, you did say that potentially have some issues. And in the
I
center,
didn't see this.
Yeah,
I thought they might have some issues. I didn't think they would be under 500 in late October.
Yeah, and I think having the two center and guard combination who they're literally ranked last in PFF and pressures allowed and in the run game, and they just couldn't get Leonard going. And I think that's something that's really been killing this football team all season long.
They're last in the league in rushing.
It's killing them. And Tom is one of those guys, like, you do trust him, but you got to put the ball in the end zone. When you don't have any running game you can depend on, you got linemen out there who've never played NFL football. It's really, really hard to execute, and you lost to the 32nd ranked team in the power rankings.
I don't think the Bucs' problems are fixable, unless you were to go trade for offensive linemen, because they can't run the ball and they can't block for Brady, and he can't move. Mm-hmm. Like, he has to be propped up back there, or else he's worthless.
Yeah.
And they can't block. They can't do anything up front, and that's a disastrous way. They didn't score a point against the Panthers. Giants keep on rolling. They go down to Jacksonville. They win 23-17. Are you buying yet?
Got about 7, maybe 8 more weeks before I start buying this.
6-1.
Okay.
3-0 on the road.
I mean, once you start getting into the dirty details of some of the teams they've been beating, bad Packers team, the bad Jaguars team, it's like,
Jeremy's a hater.
I'm not a hater. Giants. It's just, got to look at, dirty details. And I'm just not sold on my boy Danny Dimes yet. But, I think if you're a Giants fan, especially when you kind of look at, kind of how they've been playing for the last half decade, this is amazing for them. This is what you need to kind of have one of those runs. I was listening to someone on NFL say, you know what, they should probably start tanking and focusing for next year because they're not going to make make a run in the playoffs. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what,
the Giants?
Yeah, it was. I'll tell you later in the show. I'll have to look it up again. But yeah, I was like, no, that's just crazy. You're 6-1. You got to go for it right now. And yeah, they're playing well, but I'm still not sold. I need to see a little bit more of this.
Surprise, surprise, the Browns still stink. 23-20 final. The Ravens beat Cleveland. Ravens get above 500. They are now 4-3, just 2-2 at home. They get the win, and the parity in this league is just ridiculous. It seems like every team I roll through is sitting there at 3-4, 4-3. They're all bunched right there in the middle, and Baltimore, hasn't been great this year, but they're still in position to make a push at the end of the season.
Yeah, no, they're tied with the Bengals for first place in NFC North right now, and I think for Lamar, so much on his shoulders this season, and really didn't even light the world on fire in the passing game. Anytime you only have 9 completions, 120 yards, and still find a way to win, and kind of let you know what's on the other side of that football field, and that's Jacoby Brissett, who's he's definitely going to get replaced in about 4 or 5 weeks here. So, yeah, for the Ravens, it's not probably the best start of the season they could have predicted, but, they're winning games. That's really all you can ask for in this league because it's so hard to win week in and week out.
Made such a nice fantasy football pickup in Breece Hall. Really great pickup. Tears his ACL after a 62-yard touchdown. Jets still get it done. Jets 4-0 on the road this year. They go to Denver and win 16-9. Physical football team, the Jets are. I mean, I don't know how good they are, but they're winning some games because they're tough.
No, I think, you saw their head coach, that coaching hire of Salah. He has that defense playing really, really well, and that's something that travels weekend where they're on the road, you're at home. To me, they probably got one of the best corners in football in Sauce, and they got the dog at quarterback. The dog's just winning games. Lost a couple games with my boy Flacco, but since that dog's got in there, just been kind of winning games. That's really all you can ask for. So who would have thought the 2 New York franchises, 6-1, 5-2, after just all the craziness you've seen from those 2 franchises over the last half decade. But both of them are playing well, and that's I don't think anyone could have predicted that.
The Chiefs hang 44 on the Niners. Mahomes still pretty good, it appears. 423 yards and 3 touchdowns through the air.
I don't think anyone could have predicted, at this point in the season, they would have more explosive plays now than they did with Tyreek Hill on the roster last year.
And Tyreek's leading the NFL in receiving, so it's not like he can't play anymore.
Yeah, so it's the magic man. It's Mahomes, and that's the last guy you probably want to be playing on any given Sunday because he's just so perfect, man. I'm watching the game and you see a guy breaking open, and then next thing you know, the ball's like on his face mask. It's like he just sees every single guy that's open. And him and the relationship and the rapport he has with Kelsey, I think is just unmatched. And the way Andy Reid dials it up, it's just so hard to deal with. And so, yeah, the Chiefs aren't going anywhere, especially when you got that guy at quarterback playing ball. And that was a big-time road win for them to kind of get back to their winning ways. I figured it'd be very difficult to beat them twice in a row, and you saw them kind of bounce back in that big-time win.
Nobody scored in the second half of the Steelers-Dolphins game, but the Dolphins scored 6 more points in the first half, so they win it 16-10. Tua comes back, those for 250, and big interception at the end of that game for Miami. Steelers just not good, 2-5.
Yeah, I don't know what it is at the NFL this year, but I'm pretty sure, like, with the way things are headed, like, are they trying to just lose viewers? It seems like every primetime game that they play, whether it's Sunday night,
has been
we
bad.
know what's going on tonight. Then you got the Thursday night matchups that we've been seeing. It's like we're just throwing sleepers. Maybe they just want the American public to catch up on their sleep. That's why they're kind of putting some of these matchups that we've been seeing. But I think for the Dolphins, they just kind of wanted to get Tua back out there, make sure he can get through a full game healthy, and I think he understands just what it is to go down if you're getting pressure. And, you know, obviously if you're taking off, you definitely make sure you slide. And so, yeah, for the Dolphins, really sleepy game, but they found a way to win over a bad Pittsburgh team.
Rare to say, but that is actually the case. Pittsburgh, not very good. 30 minutes to go here on a Monday edition. It's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
One of the things I love about betting the NFL is that I'm always finding new players or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook, you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score even a bigger payout. Perfect for tonight's game.
Tonight's game, New England and Chicago from Foxborough. New England 8.5-point favorites. You want to bet Chicago on the money line? Justin Fields to go up there and get a win. Plus 315 coming back. You can live bet during the game. It's really easy to use. And when you win, FanDuel pays you fast. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay. So lock in your bet today on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers getting $150 in free bets, win or lose, with the promo code 1045ESPN. That is promo code 1045ESPN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues and eligible free bets expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're somebody who knows a gambling problem, help. Call 1-877-770-STOP.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Shop, shop. Shop, shop.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shop a style.
Oh, yeah!
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1.
Join me, Jimmy, out at Charles Handegrift. Monday, 6 to 8 p.m., we're at Spoken Hub Restaurant on Government Street in Mid-City. We recap the weekend pro and college football. Game Time presented by Bet Rivers on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Tigers with the open date, as is tradition here on Halloween weekend. I kind of like where this team is in terms of health, in terms of energy. It's a good spot for the bye. Obviously, you like to have it there because it's generally the toughest game on your schedule. You want an extra week to prepare. It comes at a good spot. And I think LSU right now is positioned about as well as they could be. Would I like to have Mason Smith back? Yeah, I would. But everybody else appears to look pretty good. I think you're going to get Major Burns back. I think Jack Bash is going to be okay in 2 weeks. And I think you're going to get Garrett Dellinger back as well. So as football seasons go, you're in a pretty good spot here going into the bye.
Yeah, it is. And I think anytime we kind of talked about it last week is you got a ranked team coming to town. If you can find a way to win this football game and you go put yourself first in the SEC West. I don't think anyone, would have talked about this going into the season. Like, you know what, guys? When we're playing Alabama going into that bye week, we're probably going to be first in the West, tied with those guys. People probably looked at you like you were crazy when you just look at all the turnover, the new coach and staff, all the new players in the roster that had 39 scholarship guys on it. But that's exactly where you are. And I think you couldn't have really drawn it up any better if you're an LSU fan. And then obviously you got the play of the quarterback, playing at the level that he has. I think if you pair these last two performances from these last 2 weeks, he's right up there with all the other top quarterbacks you think that are in this country. So you got those things going for you. And obviously you got a whole extra week to prepare for Alabama. I think for the Tigers, things couldn't be going any more better.
Is there something to they're playing really well? We just want to keep playing. You feel like you're losing some of that juice because you have to take a week off, or is everybody just beat up? It's been physical 2 months. We need the time off.
No, you definitely need the time off. As a player, I'm telling you now, once you kind of go through that full fall camp and you play little non-conference games, play Southern, New Mexico, who cares? But once you start getting to the meat and bones of that SEC schedule, you're taking some hits, and you kind of seeing the same guys have guys come in and out of the lineup getting banged up, and so you definitely need that break, especially at this point in the season. I'm a guy, I hate those early buys because then now you got to finish the entire stretch of the season with no breaks, but now you kind of get a fresh reset to finish this season strong, get some guys back in this lineup, and so I think the buy couldn't have came at a better time.
As far like when I know Les was he practiced all really, really hard. Come in, work on Monday and Tuesday, maybe get out of town on Thursday. Is that kind of how y'all used to do things?
I just don't remember getting any time off. I don't remember. Actually, we would get Friday off, but he would make us come in at 6 in the morning for this random stretch and stride thing because he didn't want anyone leaving Thursday night. It's less special. It's just what he did. We got 3 days off, I think, and then you come back Monday, then get back on again. But yeah, you're still coming in that Friday morning at 6 a.m. for God knows what reason. But that's a less special. That's more special.
I talked to a current college coach a few weeks ago about that. Basically, it's wanting to keep the guys on campus kind of under your control because once they get out, it's just you lose control. And so I get that college kids will be college kids and they will do silly things. So I get it, but it's just I think we'll have a lot of discussion about this team and certainly with Alabama next week. But it's just I think that they're in a really good spot here entering the bye week. So they'll work out for a few days, Brian Kelly said, and then they'll have the weekend off to do whatever it is they want to do. I'm personally because I get a weekend off. Going to go to the beach this weekend. I'm going to play a little golf on Friday morning. Mario's going to hang out with you on Friday. And so it's a 4-day work week for me. We like that a lot. Let's change gears here to the Major League Baseball playoffs. Jeremy, your boys bowed out. What'd you see?
I got swept. It was just bad. And honestly, I think it really started with that Guardian series when we lost that 2-run lead. I don't know why we had Smith. I don't know why he was pitching at all this postseason, but they threw him out there. He got totally wrecked by the Guardians, and then it just totally threw off our pitching rotation. We had to start this series with our 3 and 4 guys, and then they hit Garrett. I think the series really changed when they got off on Garrett, and that's our number 1 guy. You get off on some team's number 1 guy, it just sets you behind the 8 ball. And then Nestor pitched 3 innings last night.
Yep.
Just not what you need to have. And the Astros, man, they're just a solid baseball team. Their pitching's deep. They got guys coming out the bullpen that are really, really good. And if there's any guy to have a big time hit, it will be my boy Bregg. So I know if I was going to have to swallow something and just eat it and just watch my Yankee fans just wallow in our misery, it'd have to be from my boy Bregg. So got to tip your cap to the Astros. I'm still repping my guys.
Astros are a postseason beast. They show up every single October and make things happen. They've been really awesome. I thought one of the more perplexing things I watched yesterday was the San Diego Padres, who traded at the trade deadline for the most dominant left-handed reliever in the sport. And you've got a lead in an elimination game, and maybe the best left-handed hitter in the sport comes up, and you got Josh Hader in the bullpen, and you let a right-hander face him, and he pumps one into the seats in left center.
Yeah.
Hello, is anybody awake in the Pirates dugout? The Padres dugout? It's the 8th inning, yo.
Yeah, no.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like they're probably paying attention to social media and Harper gets all the haters, but dude, he's pumped 5 of them this postseason into the upper deck. Like, you probably want to not pitch to that guy. Like, I wouldn't mind even giving him first base. Like,
get Josh Hader in the game. That's why you traded for him. I watched that guy pitch in the Central for 5 years. No one ever got a hit. Now I realize he's been a little rocky this year, but that's why you went and got him. You let Bryce Harper face a right-hander? No. No.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Yeah, I think for the Padres, anytime you beat the Dodgers, I mean, you're on cloud 9. I mean, you beat probably everyone's favorite to go to the World Series, and so you're really feeling good about the Phillies. And then, the Phillies just caught fire. Baseball is such a momentum sport where the Phillies are just playing extremely well. They got the pitching. My boy Nola's out there just dealing, and Harper is he's playing well. So, yeah, you got to pay attention to the Phillies. They got a big-time World Series appearance.
Aaron Nola is going to be in the World Series pitching against Alex Bregman. Those two, of course, shared a couple teams in 2013 and 14 down here in Baton Rouge. Pretty good players they had on those teams there. The 13 team was so good and just didn't catch the breaks when they got up there to Omaha. I'm still thinking about that ball Rafe Rhymes hit all the time. Very, very sad. But that's your look at the MLB playoffs. The LSU Tigers will be well represented in the World Series. It started up on Friday, so they get a few days off because both championship series wrapped up real quick, and so they'll get some time off, and then they'll crank things up on Friday. All right, let's come on back and close up a Monday edition of Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Reliable Roofing and Construction. You can check out the website, reliableroofingbr.com. On Instagram, they're at Reliable Roofing LLC. 5-year labor warranty on all their work.
Yeah, so happy to tell you guys about Reliable Roofing, a family-run, owned, and operated residential roofing company. They've been in business since 2008 with over 30 years of roofing experience.
Lionel Hayes and his team have been in Baton Rouge their entire lives. They're here to serve the Baton Rouge community. And this month, still for a week, $1,000 off of your roof replacement because of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. No catch to it, just $1,000 off for all their customers here in the month of October. If you're having trouble because you're changing insurance carriers on your homeowners because your carrier left the state and now a new carrier won't come on because your roof is not in very good shape, Reliable Roofing and Construction can help you out. They can do an inspection, they can do a repair, they can do a replacement as well. Check out the website, reliableroofingbr.com.
Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today.
On Tuesday's OTB. It's bye week. How do the Tigers get ready for Alabama? Plus, Nick Underhill tries to make sense of the Saints and the NFC South off the bench. 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Closing up shop here on a Monday edition of Hunt and Hill. Monday edition's always a lot more fun when the Tigers win. They certainly took care of business on Saturday. A lot of fun on campus for LSU and Ole Miss, and it's going to be turned up to a whole nother level coming up in 2 weeks. Got game time for that earlier today. 6 o'clock will be the kickoff time for LSU and Alabama inside Tiger Stadium. So it will be a Saturday night in Death Valley. I'll just be in New Orleans. But we'll get over it. I promise. Definitely not mad about it. I'll get over it. All right, let's play some Take It or Leave It.
All righty, here. Let's go with this one first. All right, Mike Leach, he said his football team did not play well after losing to Alabama 30-6, with him mentioning some of the guys on the team are afraid of the guys in the other jerseys that say Alabama, and if you want to scare some of his players on the team, wear a Bama jersey, it will scare the crap out of them. Are you taking or leaving? Wearing crimson and white scares the crap out of MSU players.
Well, I'm never going to find out because I'm not putting on crimson and white. So there's how that goes. But maybe it does. He may have a point. It may scare him. Look, he's always good for a line, and they've been terrible against Alabama. They scored 9 points 2 years ago. They scored none last year, and they scored 6 this year. On the last play of the game, they scored a touchdown. So outside of the last play of this game, they've played them 3 years, and they haven't scored a touchdown. So I think Saban's probably got the air raid just about figured out on Mike Leach. And so, yeah, maybe they're scared of the Tide, but it's not going well when they play him, I can tell you that. LSU was fined $250K for storming the field on Saturday after they beat Ole Miss. Fine was because it's the third infraction and under the SEC's policy. Fans are going to storm again when LSU beats Alabama. Take it or leave it.
Oh, you have to take that. I mean, I don't know what the fine's going to be. It's going to be $400K this time, $500K. And I was laughing with someone else. I'm like, maybe they just start adding that to tuition. Y'all keep storming the field. We're going to bump this tuition up. We're going to get a little storm the field fun, something to slow these kids down. You get the booze going early in the morning. Night game kicks off. You beat Alabama. There's no way. Hopefully, maybe the goalpost ends up in the Mississippi River. I know that's been kind of the chat around the campus a little bit here. But, yeah, I think if you find a way to beat Alabama first in the West, you knock them down a peg. Really great avenue to go to the SEC championship, but I think no one predicted in this town. Yeah, the fans will definitely be
Look, this win did not warrant a
no, not at all.
And I'm never going to spend too much time worrying about the actions of heavily intoxicated 19-year-olds. That's just is going to be what it is. But we got to have a little awareness of ourselves here. You beat number 1 Alabama. Okay, you can go out there and run on the field. You beat number 1 in the country on a last-second field goal, run out on the field. Beating Ole Miss by 3 scores. That probably isn't going to qualify, and that's why you only got like a few that ran out there. And it's fine. You do whatever you want to do, $250K, whatever. But we got to do a little better and not rush the field on that one. That's not. We're a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
If Washington State beats the number 7 team in the country, they may rush the field. We got to have a little pride about ourselves. So if you ran on the field, come on now.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. I was like, Clemson beats Syracuse and their fans are storming the field like they won the national championship. I guess someone told me it's their tradition. I'm like, dude, you're playing in the ACC. You beat Syracuse. I just don't get it. But
and Charlie brought up a pretty good point to lead off his show. He's like, what is LSU supposed to do? They've got a bunch of security there, and they've read on the loudspeaker, don't go on the field, and they put it on the scoreboard. Like, if 15,000 people decide they're going to run somewhere, like, they're probably going to run somewhere. There's not enough, unless you want to start hurting people.
No,
it's not.
A bigger headache.
I don't know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, all right, here. After he dropped a wide-open touchdown pass and a loss to the Carolina Panthers, Mike Evans was asked by a referee for his autograph after the game in the tunnel. Are you taking or leaving? NFL refs asking players for autographs.
Got to leave that one, and there's going to be some discipline here. This is being reviewed. This is literally being reviewed by the NFL. It looks like an official went up to Mike Evans and got him to sign an autograph, and that is very, very much frowned upon and will be dealt with pretty swiftly, I would imagine. That cannot happen. And if it was for your kid or something, I hope that's the case. But, like, autograph guy, don't be autographed.
It could have been just tough times in College Station. Maybe he's a former Ag. He just wanted to get a little morale going a little bit. Who knows, man? Who knows why he wanted the autograph?
The A&M fans need to shift their focus to the Astros because things are not going so hot in College Station. That's a fact. Speaking of bad in baseball, Yankees were swept by the Stros. World Series drought 13 years. Yankees moving on from Aaron Boone. Take it or leave it.
I mean, what do we do? I guess I have to take it. I mean, you had Cole lighting the world on fire all regular season. Had my boy Nestor making all-star appearances. Had the 62 home run man right there in your locker room, and you get swept. Like, it's just no more demoralizing feeling. And then it's to the Stros. Like, oh my goodness, that's just brutal times for a Yankee fan. I got to face too what my boy Moscona's feeling right now, but not a great time. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we do.
I didn't see anything that he did that was egregious. Like, if you're the Padres manager and you don't put Josh Hader in there with a lead and Bryce Harper in the 8th inning of an elimination game, like, yes, I'm going to fire you. That's malpractice to the highest degree and cost you the season. Boone's team just got whipped. I don't know what else he can do besides send them out there and hope they play a little bit better than that.
Yeah, I mean, he tried. He changed Bader to lead off. I mean, only thing I could think of is, pitching Schmidt, who's like one of our worst guys out of the bullpen, and he just absolutely got hammered every appearance he had, just giving up hits, walking guys, giving up bombs, and I don't know, man. The Astros, they're just a solid team. Like, you lost to a team like that, and Pena, who I just didn't.
And the Astros have continued to be good, even though guys have moved on. You lost Garrett Cole, you lost Carlos Correa, you lose Springer, and they just continue to just restock the shelves and get it done. It's been amazing.
Yeah, no, it is, and it stinks for me because I literally do not like the Astros with 1 ounce of fiber in my being, and they just keep winning and winning. And they keep eliminating us over and over and over, and I have to listen to it in the Bayou for chat. All my friends are Astros fans. They're right down the road, and it just makes me sick to my stomach. But we'll rise. Yankees will rise like a phoenix from the ashes. It'll come just one day. I don't know how long, maybe when I'm 50, but it'll happen.
Speaking of baseball, we're going to do a little baseball tomorrow at the end of hour number 1, as we're going to do throughout the fall on Tuesdays. And later this week, because it is the bye week, going to try to get Jay Johnson to come on and chat about what he has seen. I went out there on Thursday and saw some stuff I really, really liked, but we'll talk about that. There are more home runs flying out of the yard yesterday. LSU baseball data tweeting out some moonshots. Jared Jones hit one like 440 yesterday. So Gavin Dugas hit 2, one of them hit the scoreboard. So that's good stuff. It's a lot over at the box right now. We're not going to do too much on it, but once February comes, I'm probably going to be insufferable. I just want you all to be well aware of that and prepared for what may come your way in January and February, because this baseball team is locked and loaded over there at the box. That will just about do it for us here on a Monday. Open the show up the entire first hour, which is brought to you by the Shed Barbecue. We talked LSU and Ole Miss, talked about the game, talked about where expectations are moving forward, and where this team is heading into the bye week. All that very, very positive at this point. So you can catch that in the first hour. Hour number 2, we open things up, recapping the weekend that was in the SEC. I went 0-3 against the spread. Jeremy went 1-2, so not really, really good. Speaking of not good, we talked a lot about Texas A&M in that segment. It was the Aggies are in big, big trouble. Then we had some NFL talk and then a little bit of baseball in hour number 2. If you missed any of it, you can catch it all on demand, 1045ESPN.com, Hunt and Hill on the On Demand tab. You can go to YouTube. Appreciate y'all hanging out in the Bayou Ford chat. You can go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you consume your audio, you can find Hunt and Hill. Coming up this evening from 6 to 8, Jimmy Ott's Game Time is coming at you. Matt Moscona is about to drive you home from 3 to 6 on After Further Review. Hope everybody has a wonderful Monday evening. We are back tomorrow, as we are every weekday, 1 to 3. It's Hunt and Hill.